Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez.
And me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
We're here, CrossFit FFC in Wanaka?
Perhaps some Banaka?
Wanakee.
Wanakee.
The only one in the world.
The only Wanakee?
The only Wanakee in the world.
Wanakee, Wisconsin.
That is true.
I mean, how many
Is
Wanakees
that a
are
rare
there?
thing?
I don't
There's
know.
only one Virginia Beach in the world.
That's fair.
That's
but
fair.
But then there's like
fair.
Springfield.
There's a lot of
Right.
Springfields, yeah.
With Marlo Hicks, affiliate you, client extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Recently saw you at our Mastermind
Yep.
in Denver, and I know we want to dig into that and all the awesome things you've done since then. And, you know, just a pleasure to be here on a Thursday morning of CrossFit Games Week.
CrossFit Games Week, baby. You were there yesterday, right?
Yep.
Well, I saw him by the booth.
Yeah, just doing the rounds.
Do you go every year?
Well, since it's been in Madison, I've gone every year. The first couple of years we were still living in Chicago, but obviously when we moved up here, it's much easier than there. So yeah, since they've been in Madison, we've gone every year.
Are you from Chicago?
Originally? Yes. Yep. Originally from Chicago.
And that's your wife?
Yep.
Better half.
She's from Chicago as well?
No, she's from here. She's from here in Wisconsin.
She's from right up the road.
How'd you guys meet?
We met at the University of Wisconsin. We both went to UW.
Badgers? Is that the Badgers?
Yep, that's the Badgers. Badgers through and through.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet at the university?
Study hall?
Pretty close.
Go ahead. She wants you to tell the story.
It was post-football game at a party. Like most love stories started around a keg.
Were you playing? Did you play football?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I was a rower in college.
Really?
Yeah.
What tell me a little bit about that. I don't know a
Yeah.
whole lot about the sport. My sister did it, crew, right?
Yep, crew. Yep.
And when I arrived on my campus, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to sign up for the rowing team." What do you think they wanted?
Wanted you to be a coxswain?
Yeah, imagine me even smaller and, and
I thought
thinner.
they were going to ask you to hand out water bottles.
And I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool. What time's practice?" They're like 5 a.m. I was like, "No, I will not. I don't want to do that." So why?
Usually they keep that under wraps because the first few will be in the afternoon, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, we start at 5 a.m."
I feel like it's unnecessary. Why is practice so early for crew?
Good water. The
water's
water. Yeah, water's usually calm in the morning.
I feel like it's worth a little bit of choppiness to sleep in.
Dude, at the Naval Academy plebe year, that's part, like, they take you and they do a bunch of stuff, but they bring you over to the boathouse, and they put you on it's like an indoor, like, it's like a tub. And you get in there, and they just make you do like a 500-meter test in there, and basically just like watching a bunch of like young morons just vomit because they're like, "I'm gonna win." It's just like your first exposure to a like an erg at all.
Yeah.
And I was just like, rowing's not for me.
So, one, how did you get involved in
Yeah.
that? And then two, what was it's kind of like track, right? There's different
There's different boats.
boats and
size shells,
distances.
The distances stay the same.
Okay.
The boats change. So I got into it, actually. I was going to school out east, the Boston area. And
Like a high school?
high school.
Okay.
This is high school. It was a boarding school. And, my big sport then was like basketball. I was a basketball player. But now you're talking about that.
Fern played basketball, right?
Yeah. Did you?
Trying to get tall.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
No,
Division
I didn't.
One?
No, I did not.
Really?
No.
Bro, I brought a basketball. We're gonna
Insert
do this right now.
something here, Nate.
I believe I can fly.
But yeah, it was the number one sport. That's what I was going for. I wanted to play ball in college, and when I got there, now you're talking about that. Picture me a little bit shorter, but about 30, 40 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
And so after my freshman year, I didn't get much playing time. I asked the coach what I need to do. He's like, "You need to get stronger." He's like, "Why don't you go row and get stronger?" It's like, "Whatever you want, coach."
That's a weird. Hey, why don't you go do long, slow distance cardio?
I was like,
To
"Strong."
get
Why don't you
stronger.
I was like, "Whatever you want, coach, as long as I get playing time." And that really started. So I did that through road through high school.
In addition to basketball.
Yep. In addition to basketball and football. And then when it came time, my senior year, it was actually in between that time we kind of moved to the suburbs of Chicago, but started rowing
From Boston.
Yep. Started rowing with a club down in Chicago. That coach You're the freshman coach here at UW. Took a
that's cool. So
took the recruiting trip. And as you guys know, Madison's an awesome place.
It really
saw
is.
the
Yeah, we
campus
love it
and
here.
Fell in love. So, and that's how I got there.
I would like to come back for a football game.
Oh yeah, do it. I'm a season ticket holder.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Did they play Navy? Do they ever play Navy?
They did 3 years ago.
Dude, you got to get here for a
3
Navy
years
Wisconsin
ago?
game.
Yeah,
Road
much
trip.
closer than I liked it to be.
Well, I was actually really happy with that game. Actually,
You
I was
remember
like, we almost pulled it off. I was like,
Yeah, it was scary.
was
So
good.
when did you go all in on rowing? When you came to college?
Yeah. So it was actually it was for me. It was a big debate. There was I could have played I had a lot of D3 over a couple of lower D1 tiers, and that was kind of like going back and forth in that. I knew I wanted to play sports in school, but just one of the big things too is when I came back. Oh, by the way, Wisconsin was actually a good school. Didn't know that, and so
You're like, oh,
yeah, and so getting
good
that,
education. You mean?
yeah, good education, and on top of it was it's a Big Ten, big time university.
It's a big,
so,
that's a big
yeah.
time school.
yeah.
They've got a good wrestling program too.
Is the crew? They have a good crew program?
They do. Yeah, they do. I mean, I personally rode with 2 Olympians,
Wow.
won
Okay.
gold. And actually, Coach Clark, who had been coaching for 30 years and coached me, is just stepping down this year.
That was the guy that recruited. That was your freshman
That was my
coach.
That was my coach. Yeah, he just stepped down just a little bit ago, so they're kind of in a transition right now. But yeah, they traditionally have been pretty well. And I don't know. I don't need to geek out on rowing, but there's not, it's kind of a coast sport.
Right.
Crews
Yeah.
are really good on the east, crews are really west, and Wisconsin's one of the only
Midwest.
Well, you got the
crews,
water right
varsity,
there,
Yeah,
right?
varsity crews. Yeah.
And
Cool.
so tell me which how many people were in your, what do they call it, a shell?
Yeah, shell, a boat. So yeah, it goes down 8, 4, 2 singles. Collegiate is really the championship boats that 8 V1.
Yeah.
That's
8 people
8
in,
people and the coxswain.
And the coxswain.
so 9 in the boat.
9 in the boat.
And
yeah.
then you're only pulling on one side?
Yeah, so yeah, for collegiate run, it mostly goes for sweep. That's what the one side.
Yeah.
You'll see.
That's why this
other
right
clubs.
arm is so much bigger.
Yeah, I'm a starboard. I can go out on that side.
That's the right side, by the way.
What port is left, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 letters. I always remember. So you were in the
Depends
8.
on which way you're facing, but yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So you were in the 8 person. You were on the main boat, main team.
Yeah, we mostly run 8s. Yeah.
And then what was the distance?
So the champion season's 2,000 meters, 2K.
What's a really good? Let me guess. What you guess to? What I know what an 8K takes on a C2 at an elite level. Now you're talking 8 people rowing though, right?
a boat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but of course it's heavier. Sub 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's
easy.
fast, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If you got the right conditions, you can go low 5s. Yeah.
Well, what's your best ever?
In a boat or on the
No. What's
on
your
the
best
C2?
ever with the team, and then what's your best ever solo 2K?
I don't honestly in the boat. I don't really pay attention to time. It's like, do we
It's not
win or
your
not?
job, yeah.
Right.
Do we win?
Gotcha, okay.
Do we win or not? But yeah, for your 2K.
Your best? It's got to be low 6s.
I'll be like
No, I
6:35 probably.
I broke 6
You've
once.
been
broke
sub
6?
6?
Yeah, I broke
That's
sub
crazy,
6.
Well, you're a
back
large
in my
man,
day.
and then if
You-
and then if you're rowing, that makes
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
skilled.
so it was
You
like
ever go to
it
Crash-
was like a 556, 557.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You ever go to Crash Bees?
I've not been to Crash Bees. It is something I do want to do.
You know what that
Do
is.
you
Fran?
do you still feel pretty strong on the rower? You get
Yeah.
on there and
I
you're
don't
like,
think you ever lose that,
I'm
right?
gonna
Especially if you
hammer
keep
this.
training.
I do feel strong in a rower. One, obviously I've taken millions and millions of strokes on it.
Hold on, let's go back to this. What split is that? What if 500
130 under 130.
That's disgusting.
Dude, I couldn't do that once. A 130, 500.
I've done a 127 once in my life.
I'd vomit
and I
for
wanted,
sure,
and I was
yeah.
down. I was down.
You must
for a
have
week.
thrown up on the rower.
I've not thrown up. I've wanted to die, but I don't thrown up.
Yeah, you should do Crash Bees, though. You'd be...
Yeah.
But
I
how
don't
old
know
are
what
you
I
now?
do now. I'm 40 now. I don't know what I would
Man,
do.
you
I don't know
look
what I do
good.
with a 2K.
I literally, if you would have said, yeah, I graduated 2 years ago, right? Like, I would have been like, I see it.
Young
Like,
man,
you could have been 20 or 80. And I'd have been like, yeah.
He's like Chuck.
He's like-
like Chuck. As soon
he's
as
a
Chuck
little-
saves off the beard, I'm like, how
Yeah,
old are
but
you,
he's
man?
got the
Gosh.
grays going. He's got, oh,
Yeah.
man, that's
Too
great.
much gray.
Yeah, you should do it, Masters. You know,
Yeah.
you know Greg Hammond?
No.
He's at the games. And
Yeah,
actually,
he's a
today there's
C2,
no...
what's his title there?
he just
He
does
does all
everything.
the
He's like a
shit. Yeah, he
utility
does
player.
everything.
But
He's a great dude.
today's the only day there's no Concept 2 going on, and he's like, if you have time, I'll come over. But
Yeah.
we should introduce you if you're around. He's
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he's fantastic, dude. And they do so much for the CrossFit community at C2. So,
All right,
cool.
so you met the wife, and now you're back in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we went down to Chicago for a bit, came back to Wisconsin because.
Tell us about getting started here at FFC.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of a long story. Like when we did, kind of move up here, I got into coaching pretty heavy. And there was a transition in our life, and I think I knew at that point, like I wanted to own a gym at some point, or I had the thought.
What was your previous career?
Working in tech, right?
Yeah, so I was working like business development and startups. Had worked with a couple in Chicago from the early stages. And then when I moved up here, I finally caught on to one here. But like kind of in that transition period, was thinking, I've done the startup thing, kind of built from nothing. They're there. That it was fun. Yeah. that part was fun for me. So like, why not do it on the fitness side?
Yeah.
So, had the talk with that, but kind of had.
You got the approval, is what you're
Not
saying.
yet. No, I didn't approve. I had to figure
Honey?
out, if I actually want to do it. If it
She's
was
like,
a good
you're
thought.
going to need to come
Was
with
she
a way better plan.
was she into
than the current
CrossFit at the
one.
time?
Yeah. She actually is the one that got me started.
Oh, really?
She got me started.
Where'd she bring you
Way to
to in
go.
Chicago?
This was in Philly.
You've been all over.
Yeah, I've been around for a while.
Where'd you go in Philly?
So it was that one was CrossFit T1. Was the
Terrence.
first one.
Yeah, they're in
Yeah.
there. They're in so I know
Philly,
Terrence.
yeah.
I went to school with Terrence
Really?
at the Naval Academy. Yep.
Okay.
He just sold that in Kevin. And his
They were
wife
one
took
of
over.
our original
Yeah.
peeps back in
Yep.
the years ago.
Yeah.
So how'd you
So
speak for her? How'd she find CrossFit?
she
Don't do that.
Googled it.
Like,
So
in Philly?
we were long distance. I was in Philly. She was in Minneapolis. I told her about this thing, CrossFit, that I heard about. She did all the Googling. She's like, all right, there's one up the street.
Honey, I'm gonna need you to research.
I signed you up for a class. Go for it.
She said that to you.
She did that to me. Yeah.
Look at this wife. What a good wife.
She's like, hey, listen, I'm not going, but you're going. You have an appointment at 4:30
I googled
this
it.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Did you go in Minneapolis? Which one?
CrossFit Minneapolis.
All right, old school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so then
Yeah.
you wind up here.
Was in Philly. As an athlete, was in Philly, this was Chicago, couple gyms there, and so when we lived here, I got into coaching,
Right.
and so the discussion was, well, we got to make sure you really enjoy it, So I was coaching at 2 different gyms, going to my job during the day, and just like making sure I loved the grind. So that was about 2 years of that ish, and then 2020 hit. We all got sent home, and then I was just chilling, doing Zoom coaching out my garage and everything.
God.
And we were stuck at the same kitchen table watching the kid and trying to work, pretending to work. And
You got one kid?
at the time we did, yeah.
And you have 2 now?
We have 2 now. Yeah, we got another 1-year-old.
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah,
Grandma,
grandparents.
That's the key, huh?
And so, yeah, when that hit, it was like, all right, I don't know, this was the time to go for it, because if I don't do it now, I probably will never. And then, so the gym one of the gym I was coaching at, they decided they weren't going to come back after everything was lifted. Saturn they had, I don't know, a coach that actually Ann coach just walked in. She was the one you need to start a gym.
She was from that box as well?
Yeah, she's like, you should start it.
Shout out, Ann.
Shout out, Ann. She's around here somewhere. And
Women in your life are good influences, huh?
Yeah, and so I was like, all right, so we went for it, and it went fast. Like from that time we thought about it to doors open was 3 weeks.
3
Wow,
weeks.
how'd you get this place so fast?
Yeah, so it was 3 weeks. So I was able to purchase all the assets.
From your original?
Yeah,
Yep.
from-
I was able.
And then you found this is the spot you opened in?
Yep, this is it. And we had people come and paint, put logos up, do all that
So
stuff.
you're coming up on 3
3
years?
years.
It was
Yeah.
3 years in July.
That's
Just
just
past
saying,
3
yeah.
years. Yep.
Congrats,
Still
dude.
there.
It's awesome.
That's really awesome. And then we started working with you probably, 4 or 5 months ago?
Around there.
We met first when you came on the hot seat.
Yeah.
we did
We
that.
first did. Yeah, we first grilled us on the hot seat.
Link to the hot seat,
Which is
Cody?
cool.
Yep. We were
Yeah.
here to interview
Is
you.
this Ann?
No, that's not it. That's Shelly.
Shelly, what's up? So you hopped on the hot seat. What do you remember about because Fern runs our hot seat
Yep.
show. What do you remember about your interactions with Fern that made you consider, going deeper with us?
Well, before that,
Yeah.
so obviously you're like, hey, I think I need some help.
Yep.
What's going on that this is now a thought that you're having?
Yeah. So I think it was one of those things when going back to when we started, you have those things. Oh, once you open the door, they'll come and everything will be good. Plus,
how bad can it be? It can be real bad. Actually.
How bad it could be. And then you kind of find a rhythm, and then it's like, okay, now how do we get to the next level, right? We got a sort of a foundation, but how do we go to the next level? And like,
I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but you're running a solid gym in our first conversation. I was like, this is better than most. Like,
yeah. No, I remember you saying that, and I think that was the coming from the startup world, that mindset of like,
just the hockey stick
all
the time.
The hockey stick in accent. Hockey stick all the time was kind of in my mind. But I think,
did you experience that in the startup world, where like you in a startup that was like that had a hockey stick kind of trajectory?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Multiple times or?
Twice.
Which companies?
Two ones. So one was called Alternative. They did an online eye exam you could take from home. They rebranded to Visibly a few years back. And then the other one's called Enzo Data. So they're a machine learning AI play that measures physiological data.
Yeah.
So so you put in, it's basically it started with sleep techs, so they can grade sleep scores in less time than a sleep tech can go through it. So
that's I bring that up. That just sparked a thought. I was listening to Don Fall just did his podcast with Jocko, just dropped 3 and within a week.
Yeah.
And he was talking about his career in the tech world.
Yeah.
And he went Google, Facebook,
LinkedIn,
Pinterest.
Dang.
But he happened to get plugged into all 3 of those companies like as they were like on the uptick. So his entry into the tech world were all like 100x,
well, 100x.
Okay,
100x.
Mine weren't that big. I wasn't.
No. But my point was just like those are the anomalies, right? So you're in 2 companies that have an upward trajectory.
But you were in
pretty
multiple others as well. Or are those the only 2?
2.
There are 2 of 3 were like this.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But he said the same thing, and then he went to the 4th one before he came to CrossFit. That he was there for 6 years, and it was like a grind to get through, and they did a lot of good stuff. But he was like, he was talking about how he had like a unrealistic expectation about how this is supposed to work. He's like, there's only like one Facebook.
He's gonna do that to CrossFit. You're gonna do that to CrossFit. We're gonna see that hockey stick.
We're gonna talk to him. We're gonna bring him on. We're coach him up on the podcast.
Don, it's been a year now. What's going on?
What's happening, bro?
So anyway, Fern was asking, what about where you were?
So at the time, So at that time, the reason I thought, and the reason I came to show was like, how to make my marketing better. And I think that's what we put on the thing is like, marketing and social media.
Right.
And then,
which you do a good job on social media, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's how we got. That was my question.
Yeah.
And then we got talking, and it went completely the other way.
We reframed it.
Yeah.
How did it change?
It was more a little bit of, and this is kind of what we talked about at the Mastermind, is more like, hey, systems, like starting to talk about scalability, removing him from certain pieces. We talked a little bit about just better sales process and sales flow a little bit, maybe a little bit of pricing restructure, but nothing crazy. But he was, so your situation, the box that you're running now, and even but when we first started, can feel like the sticky ones, meaning like, hey, I feel like I need to do something drastic when that's actually typically not what needs to happen. I need to do, a series of micro adjustments along the way. And that's hard because you don't see immediate return on all of those. But a lot of people think, like, I gotta do something drastic. I gotta change something. I gotta do this. I need more of this. I need to go bigger, better. And I'm like, or continue doing what you're doing. Make those subtle adjustments, stack it, get the aggregate of small changes, and then make that change. And then and we kind of had a similar conversation at the Mastermind.
Yeah. We very
came in. You're like, hey, this is what I want. I was like, I don't think it is.
I didn't see Marlo's hot seat. So what was your question?
It was programs.
Yeah. It was programs. What programs, and getting staff on board.
And then what direction did it go in, Fern?
It actually circled back to, it was more, I was just like, what do you want, man?
Yeah, circle back to what I want.
And what do you want?
It's a great question. And I think at the Mastermind, we kind of ended.
Let's let, not everyone knows what we did at the Mastermind.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
You want to
no, you can give it.
So basically,
Jay forgot. By the way. Yeah.
Let me see if
Can
I
we
can
talk about
remember.
how much you're sweating right now? Too, by the way?
It's hot here in Wanakee. What's the heat index here in Wanakee? So every participant, every client that was there had 20 minutes where they had one question, and then Fern, Marcus, and I led the groups. But all of the participants that were watching weren't allowed to give advice. They were only allowed to ask more questions.
Yep.
And oftentimes, especially as the weekend progressed, the questions got better and better to dig into like that. Like, I want to add
100%.
programs, and then the real question becomes like, what do you want for yourself?
Yeah. I think I went on day 2 or maybe the second thing, and I was like, I should do this early. And then
But it was better, right? Like the later.
Yeah, when I was later, I was like, dang, I wish I would have gone later. it got deep
And then
and different.
towards the end, we just kept everybody just. Even yesterday on the podcast, did you hear? We were. Oh, I forget which episode. And Brendan Ziegler was out in the audience. And he goes Tuesday. Yeah, because towards the end, everybody was like implementing something. Travel home Monday.
run out.
It gets implemented
Fine.
Tuesday.
Can go
What's going on? You guys.
People like they can go in and out. You can put on the music.
This
Everything's
isn't-
good. Pretend like nothing's
This
happening.
is, this
We're
isn't a
not here.
professional-
We're not here.
This is not a professional podcast or anything. So anyway, what do you want for yourself? We were getting serious. You're gonna address this big question in your life.
Yeah, and so we left the Mastermind, and he left. Fern left me with he thinks I want more time. That's where my answers were going. And
So that's where it came back to. He's like, I want to do this. And I'm like, why? He's like, well,
Yeah.
one more time. I'm like, well, I don't think you need to do programs to get more time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the opposite, right?
Those, I think, were my
feel like-
precise words.
yeah. I was like, you need more time. And then as I was thinking about it, it's like, that makes sense. And then what am I going to do? What am I going to do with said time?
I want to dig one step deeper
Yeah.
because we haven't been able to ask this to people there. What was your flight home like?
Ooh,
Mine was good. Actually, it only got delayed a little bit.
I don't mean it from a travel logistic,
Yeah.
but I mean
Yeah.
I think a lot of people on that flight home were like,
Yeah.
you just messed my world up. And now I've got like 3 hours of quiet to think about
Yeah,
it.
no, absolutely. So you use
But there was
usually what I
turbulence
do.
on the
There
flight,
was
is that what you're going to say?
turbulence. Yeah, but usually on things, and
It was psychological turbulence.
You can ask my wife this too. So I come home with a notebook full of stuff.
Was he
Yeah, I come over with a notebook full of stuff, and then usually on the plane, I'm kind of reviewing through it, especially early on, just what it is. I get home, she asks me what's the one nugget you take away, and I'm like, I got a notebook full, and there's not just one. So then, for the flight coming home is just reviewing, but it's everything is turning.
Yeah.
Everything is turning, and then that first day back is I'll just do a brain dump of what is all in my head.
Right.
And going on, what was the, what's actionable right now? What did I really take away from it? Put those things in, kind of in order, right? Just get it out there, get it out of my brain.
Yeah. So what do you think was when your wife asked what's the one thing? What was the answer? Do you remember?
Was he like
You
these
don't?
guys? Was he got?
Yeah,
Oh,
he taught
soft
me-
talk.
He gave
Yeah.
me the list.
Oh wow,
I'm on the
nice.
program now, so
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah, I am eliminating soft language.
There you go.
From my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's a process. It's hard.
It is.
It's hard to
yeah.
eliminate soft talk.
You
But
got to
it
come to the
matters.
next one. You got to come to the
Yeah.
next mastermind.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, and we're interviewing Mark England
on Friday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
You should swing by. He's the guy who taught us all
Yeah.
about that. So,
Yeah.
so anyway, eliminating soft talk and
Mhm.
and then digging deeper into why you want to do these programs.
Yeah, and that's it. Part of it, eliminating the soft talk, and part of that was a lot of not external soft talk, but a lot of internal, and
That's the most dangerous kind.
yeah, 1,000%. And so when it came to it, when I was thinking about I want to do more things, that a lot came from I didn't think I was there. I didn't think I was good enough. These are the things I need to push for to be that person, right? So that's all that.
Convincing yourself that you're not good.
Yeah. So you had to go more. So not that you're not wrong, but I think there's a level deeper of that, and so having that takeaway kind of helped do that. So I
Is it an
forgot what the
all-ladies class,
original
by the way?
question. What's that?
Is this an all ladies class?
It is.
It just
It's
happened?
9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Oh,
man.
that's fair. Okay. I don't know if you guys are just no dudes.
Soccer moms
Yeah.
and dads, but no dads today.
Yeah, at 9 a.m.
Are you struggling to manage your gym efficiently and still losing clients in the process? Wodify solved this problem for me and tons of other gyms. Wodify is a top-rated customer retention platform trusted by over 5,000 businesses nationwide. Wodify's biggest impact on my business is the ability to streamline tasks, the ability to get information pushed to me instead of me having to go into the system or call customer support to figure out what information I need to operate my business most effectively. This is where Wodify has changed my interaction with my staff and my clients and allowed me to run a top tier CrossFit affiliate for the past 8 years. That's how long I've been on Wodify, for 8 years. Well before anybody else was on there and early to the game, and they've continued to improve their product year over year. Give Wodify a try today and join me and thousands of other businesses that have already transformed their operations by going to wodify.com/podcast. And the best part is you'll get 50% off your first 3 months by using my link.
It's really anywhere in the world. That's funny.
It's
like
universal.
we're in Wanakee, Wisconsin. It's still primarily women at the 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So what was the outcome of all this?
Yeah, the outcome. A lot of it was doing the challenge, right? Getting rid of some of that soft talk.
I think it's cool that you guys are doing that together, though.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah,
Like you keep each other accountable.
Yep.
You're like maybe
she hated the first
kind
day or two.
of.
What do you guys do when you hear it? What do you do when you hear each other say something?
I don't know. I think we just like call it out, like, ooh.
Yeah, can't say that.
Can't say that.
face. He's
like,
like,
ooh.
Do the kids? Do you do with the kids too?
No, I don't think that's
Not
a
yet.
problem for our son.
I tell you what
What
is
about
very
trickle down for sure?
something
Yeah.
to consider, because I'm going to start doing it because I just finished taking the level 2 for Enlifted, and one of the things they talk about in there is having a kid's journal. It's like having your kids journal every night, like one win for the day.
That's a cool idea for
one
the
win
kids.
for the day, but that's what we do with gym owners, right?
Yep.
Like we always talking about
Yeah.
the wins. We talked about this.
I gotta start
yesterday.
doing that with Madison.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember.
She's like her dad.
That's really great that you guys are doing that together.
Yeah,
So, what was the outcome? Are there new programs?
they're not new programs.
Do you have more time?
There's not new programs. I do have more time. I prioritize my time. That was a big one. What exactly do I do with my time? Right. So coming back in and like doing the exercise of what am I doing throughout the day?
Like busy or productive
Yeah.
type stuff?
Yep. Busy or productive. What actually needs to be done compared to what is being done.
So let me ask you this: Can I ask you? Or go ahead. Sorry.
So the other thing, like being able to, eliminate, delegate, automate. Go through that process. Sit down with some of my coaches, see what some of the things they would like to take on that I don't want to do.
Right.
And have you done
Stuff like
that?
Yeah, absolutely. Done a little bit that, and still want to do a little more, but we're figuring out that process.
It'll be never ending. 'Cause
Yeah.
you kind of move up, you'll find that the things that you were productive are now busy work, and then those will have to be. It's just like it's a never ending game.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you identified? Like, oh, this is busy work.
Basic gym maintenance. Basic gym.
Can hand that off.
Yeah. Just.
It's not that it's busy; it's that
nothing.
you could delegate that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He doesn't need to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I do it, it's like in my head, like this has to be, this is my gym. Like this has
Nobody
And
can
also,
wipe
are
down
you
this
doing
beard
that-
like I can. I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
And,
you know?
Are you doing that instead of doing something challenging that
Right.
would be more
Exactly.
beneficial?
Oh.
Because you feel like this is a huge thing and I'm getting something done in the moment.
Yeah.
But then you're putting off the big projects.
Yeah. No. 100%. So as soon as something gets tough, it's like, well,
I go clean.
that rower's out of
scrub the
order.
toilet.
So much chalk on the bars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have someone doing that now?
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of split, but we do have a team that's we call them the facility crew.
Talk us about that, because a lot of people. Brendan was another example.
Zealer?
Yeah, Big Shoulders CrossFit.
Yep.
Who's like, I don't have
He's in
time,
Michigan.
and I can't find. What's that?
He's in Michigan.
Yeah, no.
No.
He's in Illinois.
Outside in Illinois.
Same thing, but
Same
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same.
But
We're just gonna put all the states together.
Coasties.
but it was a very similar, question. And it was like, oh, I just had to find people. And he went back on Tuesday, and 2 members were like, I can do these tasks.
Yeah.
So were you able to? How'd you go about finding someone to take on some of those tasks? Current coaches, non-coaches.
Yeah, current coaches. Simply, as the question, like, hey, everyone's doing a great job of coaching. There's some other stuff that can be done around if you have like interest. Like what do you have interest in? What do you want to learn, and what do you believe you're good at, right? And so I obviously want to put people in a position to succeed,
right?
And then also like give them the opportunity for the growth if that's what they want to do. So I just asked, sat down with the coaches, asked them those 3 questions. Kind of from there, was able to be like, all right, well, like, I'm going to keep picking on Ann because she's right here. She's in front of mine, but she's like, I do things that pay attention to detail, right? Like, I'm very detail-oriented. I like to do those things. Like, perfect. You take maintenance. You can do a newsletter, right?
Give her those 2 things?
Yeah.
Dude, I just handed
Yeah.
off the newsletter. I handed off all the comms at the gym. It was like the last thing that I was holding on to. And I was like, nobody can do this as good as me.
Nobody can write a sentence.
Turns out I'm the worst speller of all time.
Everybody.
Yeah.
People are like, Fern, did you take spelling lessons?
Yeah, clearly you handed off the newsletter because there's no more grammatical errors in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a low-hanging fruit.
Oh,
like,
it's so
hey, can
low-hanging.
you write about 3 things going on at the box?
Yeah. But it's
super
great
easy.
because it happens on time. It's better. Like I
It's an
create,
easy one to track, too.
I created all the templates for it. I was like, here's what I'd like you to do. And then like, here's all the things that you would need to do it. Outside of that, you tell me what you need. And she was like,
Yep.
got it, done. And I was like,
Who'd you give that to, Lindsay?
no. I need it done on time.
But
I love you, Lindsay, but I need it done on time.
No, but for that reason, it's like, cool. It's like, is it in my inbox on Tuesdays at 9?
Yeah, no.
Like, and
Boom,
then
boom.
read through it, and it's easy.
But and this is kind of what we talked to you about too, is like the accountability cycle is like, I don't know, I don't need to know if it's coming in my Tuesday. We meet about it every week, and I get the update and essentially like the proof before it goes out.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, let's send
But
it out.
eventually the goal is I no longer need to even get the proof.
100%.
Just send it out
I will
Tuesdays.
hand that off
Yeah.
to somebody else. But that's me going through like what is the appropriate accountability, so like and I've talked about this before on the podcast, but like how do I become a better manager? And this is kind of where Marlo and mini gym owners get stuck, which is just like, okay, I'm doing it pretty well. And the immediate assumption becomes like, I need to do it a bigger, better version of that. And I'm like, first step is typically make this version easy.
And hand it off, yeah.
Just hand it off or not, but make it easy, right? So again, we were having that conversation yesterday about like, okay, you do a 5-minute Fran. What if you do a 5-minute Fran and it's not that bad? I'm like, you're fitter.
Yeah.
This is now easy, right? So that's the same thing
And
in
that
the
will
gym.
inevitably become a 4:30.
Correct, and it'll be faster, and then I can do other things. And I think I've done it many times where we just skip that whole process of like, all right, I'm doing it, and you're running at RPMs of 5,000. You're like, you know what I should do? Go faster, and you're like, or run the same speed, lower
Assault bikes
RPMs.
are breaking, things are flying off.
Gears
right.
are flying off.
But that's
and all that shit.
Marcus's talk all the time: crawl, walk, run. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not just with yourself, but then when you hand it off, like you're doing with the newsletter, hey, send it to me early. That's crawl. Walk, like I'll check it after it goes out, and then runs, like I don't need to check. You're good at it. Tell us this. Give us some live feedback.
Yeah.
Best thing about the Mastermind. One thing you want us to improve.
Yeah, I would say the best thing in Mastermind is one that's Mastermind. Like, you get to meet people that are doing what you're doing, and they all different takes on it, and different levels, really.
Have you stayed in touch with people from it?
Yeah, a couple of them. Actually, after like trading certain socials and getting back.
Who do you talk to the most that you met there?
Now you're putting me in a spot. I forget their CrossFit name. They're actually out. They're out in Colorado, and now
Rifle?
Yeah, Rifle. That's it.
Carolini?
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
She
Rifle
talks a
for
lot.
sure.
But I love her. She has so much energy. She gets on some of those calls, and I was like, you got to slow down. Like, this is my first call. I'm like, reel it in for a minute, Carolini. Oh, yeah, she's awesome over at Rifle.
Yep.
And then what's the one thing you want to see better when we go to Did I just announce the next Mastermind?
Yeah,
You did, but that's all right.
You can bleep that out.
Edit.
Cody's losing his mind over
Cody's
there.
like,
He's
what time
"God
is it?
damn it."
When do I got to edit this podcast? let me redo it. Hey, you're going to be at the next Mastermind in Texas. Let me do it one more time. You're gonna be at the next.
Put all the options in there.
I think I love the hot seat. Hot seat was great. I think the one thing improved is like the hot seat is having more content in between because it got kind of long.
The hot seats?
Yeah, the hot seats, doing that like back to back to back. And
So that's already fixed for the next one. Yeah.
Way more presentations, other drills going on.
Yeah, and
We'll
I
have
think-
more people running the hot seats. So like Pat will be there, Joel will be there.
Yeah.
So they won't, because they drag on.
Yeah, they drag on, but it'd also
But
be
you're-
nice. I think my opinion is I thought it'd be nice. Like the content that you did have before the hot seats was great,
The
but it
Ted
would be
Lasso-
to
my
have
Ted
him.
Lasso lecture.
Yeah.
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
No,
Do you watch it now?
No, I don't.
He didn't tell you about my lecture?
He forgot.
Oh my goodness.
I did not tell.
Marlo.
I didn't tell
Probably
you
told
the
him about
Ted
my
Lasso.
lecture though.
Did you tell you about? I had a whole Ted Lasso presentation.
Did. But it would be awesome to have those in, like hot seat, and then be able to take what we learned and like use that right inside of that practice.
Cool. Oh, noted. That's
you know,
good.
does that make sense?
Yeah, and like Fern said, you know,
Yeah.
we sat down, Marcus, Fern, and I immediately after.
Yeah, like at the close of Sunday, we like went back to the house and like
Yeah.
we did
What
like
can
a
we do
2-hour
better?
AAR
Yeah.
for that.
We had
But,
calls about- yeah.
but with that said, if that was it was the first one you guys ever did, and that was pretty damn good.
Thank
But
you.
it was pretty
Thank you. But
good.
yeah, the whole goal is no different than
yeah,
coaching. Like we want to improve it to make it worthwhile for you.
yeah.
So, what's going on now? Now that you're back and you do have more time,
Mm-hmm.
has anything changed here? Other, you know, Anne's doing the cleaning and other things. What else has changed from your perspective as the owner?
Yeah, like I said, the biggest thing is I prioritize my time. I'm.
So what does that look? So
like
can you walk us through that real quick? What does that look like?
One more time with her.
Yeah, I have more time.
Yeah,
more
so have
time
you noticed it?
with the kids.
And the marriage is still good with more time together? If I get more time
get
with
to
my
go.
wife, she's like,
Dude, that was not an uncommon outcome from those,
Oh.
which is just like some people. I was just like, who is it?
Kirby.
Kirby. Well, like her outcome was just like date night Friday. She's like, we got to get babysitter. I'm like, text your in-laws right now. And she was like, they said they could do it.
Happen
I'm like,
live.
that is
Oh,
your.
yeah.
And I was like, but we forget about that. And this goes back to kind of like what we were talking about yesterday in one of the podcasts is like prioritizing yourself.
Yes.
In front of the business because you're actually the one who runs the business, and like if you're unhappy, that's gonna seep over into the box.
Yeah, exactly.
especially with two kids.
Yeah, like
Time
my
with the kids.
Yeah, our kids. He started playing baseball this year. Was able to go to all
get
those
them on the
games.
rower?
What? He loves the rower. Okay,
Is he tall?
he's called for his age. Yeah, he's 6, but yeah, he wants to get in the boat too. Like he wants to
Get
do
him
it
out
now.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's baseball. You go to the Brewers or something out here?
Yeah, the Brewers, Milwaukee. I'm a White Sox fan again. Chicago.
How far are we from Milwaukee?
A good hour.
Oh, that's the team you'd go see.
Yeah. We took
Do they
a
have a
gym. We took a
AAA
gym
team
trip.
around
in.
here?
No. They have in Madison. You guys don't have time, but if you ever get a chance, they have a wood bat summer league. So it's like college kids playing wood bat. Madison Mallards. That's a good time.
That's cool.
I remember some summer leagues growing up near the Cape.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. So more time with the wife, more time with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
How about as it relates to the box, or is it just now that I've got time for myself, I'm more present at the box?
Yeah, no, that too, and I think like I've been able to enjoy the time. Like I enjoy my time on the floor.
That's good.
I'm not freaking out about what's going on behind there in the office as much, because like I know what I'm getting done, when I need to get done. This is when I'm coaching. This is when I'm getting stuff done. If it doesn't get done, we'll put it off the next day. Now I'm home, and that's what I'm doing.
Were you the kind of person who was I leave the gym and then I'm home and then I'm still doing work?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah. Confirmation over here.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think I even got good at that until maybe the last year.
And I mean,
where I get home and I'm like, all right, it's got to go. I mean, it still
we're
happens
still at
occasionally.
times bad
but
at it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you work primarily at the gym. I mean, I work mostly at home.
I could not do that.
But there's a cutoff, and I was telling Cassidy, actually, your coach.
Yeah, you have like a 2-hour workday. There's like
I was like, yeah. First,
between
he's like, "What do you
11 and
recommend?" I was like,
11
"Don't work
and
more than 2 hours." Like, that's silly. No, but we were Nate and I were giving Cassidy advice. He's about to have a kid in 6 weeks, and I said one of the big takeaways for me was once you're with the kid, like no work, like. Because if you're trying to do work, it's stressing you out. You're not having fun, and you're not present with the kid. I was like, I realized when 4 o'clock rolled around, it's time with Madison. If she goes to bed, I can do more work later. But don't try to get work done then.
Yeah.
And it was a big big help. That's what I told him.
Yeah.
So when Cassidy's still a good coach after the kid, you thank
see.
me. I mean, he's not a great
determined.
coach now, but
to be determined.
but it's so what I'm hearing is the Mastermind was great for business, but mostly we saved your marriage.
Well, what I say is like your business is just a reflection of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So if you take care of yourself, that will reflect onto your business very well. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Like you joke around about it, but there's stuff going on.
Did you name your kid Jason after us? Is it Jason your oldest?
No, absolutely not.
Because that's an easy one. If you guys want to. You get us both there.
It's a strong name. It means
third
leader.
Third child, maybe? Yeah. No third child?
No.
Okay.
We're good.
Either Jason or you go like best.
Best.
Yeah. And we would accept that.
We would accept
that. So,
not terrible.
New topic.
Yep. Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
For the viewers, if you haven't really, you're black, right?
Yes.
Okay, just double check.
Surprise.
So, we talked a little bit offline. I'm not springing this on you.
Yeah.
It was Fern you
I
spoke
hope
to.
you're not springing it on him.
No, not at all.
He's black. You're 40, but
Talk to my parents.
why did you tell me?
Oh my God! I never knew.
You put me in crew. Do you realize?
Actually, my dad does the same thing. So.
Crew, CrossFit, come on. I wouldn't say it's unique, but there's far more, especially in the States, right? I'm not speaking internationally.
Sure.
White affiliate owners.
Yep.
We had a podcast. This is years ago with like 4 or 5.
This was immediately after the tweet, essentially.
Yep.
And
just wanted to talk to people.
And just our ignorance, right? Like, how is it different as an affiliate owner?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's so there's two words. Like, I own an affiliate, I run it, I'm the face of it. But the difference comes is like I'll be the face of the affiliate, then you kind of look around to other affiliates, whether it's local or like we're talking about in the United States, like you don't see it as much, right? I think like this came up. I've been to a couple other like affiliate gatherings or affiliate events, and it's like, most of the time I'm the only one in the room.
There's just like one black affiliate.
Yeah, there's like one. If there's another, and I've, gotten mistaken for another, and like, and all that stuff. And it's like, no, that's, But
you're like, that guy's 5 foot something. Like, we don't even look.
I'm
anything
6'5",
near
man.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's and when I do have these conversations with those other affiliate owners, the big thing is like, it's hard to have that, that identity. So what is that identity that we do have out there? Because, we like to put our face out there. That's what makes this community great. Like the people behind it. And then when we put it out there, like, all right, what's the immediate reaction? And what's like, what kind of message are we sending with our, with our boxes? And how does that different than, if we see a Jason, if we see
I'm
a
black
Jason.
too. Damn!
Oh, gotcha.
So I hear.
Yeah, he's here for that. He's here for that.
But there's a difference versus you saying you see just a white affiliate owner.
Yeah. There becomes a different. There becomes that like there's like an unspoken dynamic there of what we're trying to accomplish, how we're and how we're going about it, and what that looks like. So it's when I walk into I'll speak for myself. But when I walk into like another room full of affiliate owners, the big thing is, oh shit, like am I supposed to be here?
Because you were the only black affiliate owner at the Mastermind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it sounds like you're saying like you feel a little out of place to some extent.
Yeah, it's that relatability. Right. Like for me, the biggest thing is like, how do you grow that? Because if there's not other people seeing that, like I never met one. I just went down my mental Rolodex, but I never met one.
Before you opened, you had never met another black affiliate owner.
Yeah, never met an affiliate owner. And then, like, how do we grow that? How do we show that, this is something we can do, right? Because it's much easier to see someone else that looks like you go after it than just to be like, all right, now jumping into a fray of.
Well, I don't think it's any different than what we tell people about the website. Is like when they show up to the website, they should be like, hey, that person. Oh, people like me do things like this. That's the old Seth Godin thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, and that's.
It's interesting. It's just like something, as like just a typical white dude. Where I'm like, I would never think that.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But especially as an owner, like I get it as a member, I might be like, oh, I don't see any other white people. Like we don't do this, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying you could feel the same way as an entrepreneur, even like, like this isn't a space that black people typically go in and have an ownership.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
so what made you break that mold?
I mean, this is something I wanted to do.
Other than her.
Yeah. This. You know.
Good job, Mom.
You know, I love CrossFit. I love being an entrepreneur. I thought, hey, if I put them both together, maybe I can satisfy my life.
And you have.
Yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
And something we didn't touch on. How did you actually get involved? You said to get stronger, you started rowing.
Yeah.
So at what point were you like, this isn't working? Like, I like rowing.
Oh, no. It was rowing the tournament. So after I got done rowing, after I got done with school, I was like done.
And you must have graduated like 2 or 4?
05.
Okay. Yeah.
05. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. Never working out again.
Really? Like,
was
I
burnt
put my
out.
time in.
Yeah, I was like, I've worked out for my entire
Zero
lifetime.
exercise will
Yeah.
happen for the
Doing
rest of my
nothing.
life.
You're like in dodgeball at the end. Yeah.
I would do nothing, and I literally did not for like 2 years.
And she was like, honey.
And this, yeah,
Honey.
We gotta talk.
when that
I fell in love with you
happened,
because of your abs, not your brains.
and that was the conversation. Yeah, like I was sitting on a couch, just feeling miserable about myself.
That's crazy that you literally went 2 years.
I really went 2 years.
You did nothing.
Did nothing.
I mean, I've done that as well, but it's just crazy that you did it. I'm going on 8 right now. I put that time in.
Yeah.
So what got you off? And then that's when you looked up CrossFit.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
And then-
so you started CrossFit coming off of 2 years of nothing.
Yeah.
How fast did you get like good at it? Like you realized good being
Well,
like I was going RX for the most part. Like that
Yeah.
must have come back quickly.
Yeah, I think most of it came back quick. Like that. Like
And this
the
is at
engine,
T1.
the
This is
engine
at
came back
T1.
quickly.
Well, that like
Yeah,
you-
T1
that-
and then CrossFit Prime shortly after that.
You're like the
but-
person I think of, like in that scenario, like high level athlete,
Also gets
do nothing.
rhabdo.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I'm like high risk.
Yeah.
I'm like you're like that's a nightmare for a gym owner. Like that
Oh, he's doing
person's
box
like
jump, kettlebell
still,
swings, and
still
jumping below.
young,
Great.
still young, incredible work capacity, like relatively short time, but
Because
like
you're
has
like
not done
26,
anything for 2 years.
27 at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just
Still
like,
young.
oh man, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
And you
Okay.
never, but have you now, because I think for most of the listeners, us, like, I've had kids, for instance,
Yeah.
like life events, like training's always like there. Like
Mm-hmm.
a week may go by, but it's like always part of our lives. Is it part of your life now?
Oh, training. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
dude's still
It has-
I mean, he's 40, but like no matter how busy you are, how often you find time as the owner now to train?
Oh, try to get it once a day.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still working for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It makes a difference. I'm an early morning guy. So it's like it's the start of
I know.
my day. It's
we're
like
trying to set up this podcast. He's like 5, 6, 7. I was like, no, you're 30 minutes from the venue, dude.
Sorry, Marlo.
I was like, we had to get up early to be here at 8.
you don't know anything about our team, Marlo.
We love you. You're a great client. If we don't see you, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
that's what I was going through. I made the schedule, so I had a little bit of
Yeah.
that's
Jay would start every workday at noon if he
yeah.
could. Yeah.
Noon to 2 is like my sweet
That's
spot.
the sweet
I
spot?
work really hard at those. If I get
I
a
get to 2
15-minute
o'clock,
nap
my
in there,
day's over.
if I get a nap in there, yeah.
Well, I mean, so kind of button up that conversation. This
Yeah.
is part of the reason why we bring like just affiliate owners on the like we had Daniel Chappie on yesterday, bring you on, other people, because this is what I always struggled with is just like I wanted to see somebody else doing it. I wanted to hear about somebody else
You
doing
always
it.
talk
So
about
like
chasing that rabbit.
chasing
Yeah.
the rabbit and just like, you know, and I think this is a step in the right direction. Is just like, oh yeah, we want more black affiliate owners. I'm like, yeah, it's easy. Like dude's living the life, like crushing it here and having a good time and like figuring it out like everybody else. I mean, the journey's the same for everybody, but it all feels unique to each and every one of us, depending on like what our background is. So, but yeah, dude, I think that's the whole purpose of all of this is to just continue to put people forward and say, look, here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing. And all of those will resonate with a different group of people. And that's the whole point is like, there is no left or right lateral limit on that. It's just like, because I mean, if we canvass the CrossFit community, I don't think I've ever been around a more diverse group of people.
Yeah, you go to the games today.
It's just like, I mean, everything you would ever
international.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just like, well, let's keep pushing them all forward, and then they inspire more people.
Right.
Like more people look at that and like, oh, I'd never considered that as a career path for me. So like, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So, yeah, I just want to give you a shout out for that because like you're doing it.
the
You're
forefront.
continuing. Yeah, you're as an affiliate owner, doing really well, starting to make it easier on yourself now, growing in community, like, creating a career for yourself. Like, those are all the things that we all want.
Yeah.
So
Big takeaway. Happy wife.
happy life.
Happy life.
Happy wife, happy life.
Marlo,
Great.
it's awesome to see you succeed. And
Thank
we look forward to keep working with you and to seeing it at the next Mastermind.
Well, we'll see Ashley at the next Mastermind. I was going to stay back with the kids for the
yeah, you
next
stay home.
Mastermind.
You got to get a babysitter.
Yeah.
Both of you come out.
Yeah.
Get some time
Book
away.
it now.
Get the grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have those dates. Do we announce the dates?
It's the last weekend of January.
Yeah, like the 25th, 26th-ish, whatever that weekend
think
is.
it's later
What's
than
something
that.
going on?
No.
You got
Not
plans?
anymore.
What?
You got plans?
I just made this discussion with her about Wadapalooza.
Oh, no, it's not
it's
Wadapalooza
2 weeks
weekend.
after that.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but then that's 2 travels and 2 sets
Yeah,
of babies.
you know
We'll
what?
figure it
Shoot
out.
for the stars.
You're successful.
Figure it out.
Shoot for
We'll
the stars.
figure it out.
Shoot for the stars.
But it's been great having you. We'll see you
Yeah.
over at the venue.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thanks
Continued
for having
success.
us.
Yeah,
Thanks for
man,
having
thank
us
you.
in your house. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.